Asheville, North Carolina. I'm assuming everybody's been to Asheville. I start a lot of my presentations talking about how cities grow, and I usually try to put a lesson up front. Matt's talked about choices or where you're going. You saw how you all don't want to be in Atlanta or Charlotte. In Asheville, we say the same thing. I can tell you, I can't predict the future, but I can kind of tell you where I'm going in my life through my DNA path, right? So if you want to see how I started my life, here's where I'm at here, and here's my path. I'm gonna be Pablo whether I like it or not, right? So you all do. So you look at your family members and you see what's going on in your own life. But more importantly, I look at this guy. So this is my father, again when I had hair. And I have 2 genetic issues. I'm genetically Italian, and I also have genetic issues with heart disease. So I know that that's in my path, right? So I have to plan today for how I grow into the future. I have to watch what I eat, I have to exercise, I have to do those things that take time out of my life, they're costly, but it projects my growth forward. So the thing to have in the back of your mind is, who is your model if you don't want to be Atlanta? What are you doing differently from Charlotte to not be Charlotte? And these are difficult choices. So back to Asheville, really quickly I'm going to go through the history of Asheville that not a lot of people know. This is the center of Asheville. Many of you all stood there. 15 years after this picture was taken, this is the same location. We like to say the 3 T's made Asheville: trains, tourism, and tuberculosis. We grew extremely fast. We had the second streetcar line in the entire country. Presidents came to visit. During the 1920s, we were growing at 20% in population every single year of the decade. We were the 2nd largest city in North Carolina. Did you all realize that? We were bigger than Raleigh, Charlotte. During the 1920s, we were growing 20%. We achieved the highest debt per capita of the entire United States. We were #1 in debt. And when the Depression hit and our books were audited, we thought we had $5 million in the bank. It turned out we had 18,000. A little clerical error there. And our entire city council was indicted and the mayor committed suicide. That's leadership in Asheville, right? Thomas Wolfe, famous American author, had this to say about his hometown. He wrote this in Look Homeward Angel. Asheville has squandered fabulous sums. They've flung away the earnings of a lifetime. They've mortgaged those of a generation to come. They have ruined a city, and in doing so, they've ruined themselves, their children, and their children's children. That's a hell of a thing to say about your hometown, right? Incidentally, his second book is called You Can't Go Home Again, for obvious reasons. He was a cleric. He just figured out what was happening in our community. It would take us until 1976 to pay off that debt. Asheville chose not to be part of the New Deal program. We said we took that money out, we're going to pay it back. So it locked Asheville in time. But here's the paper, 1976, and it's the 3rd story. Of course, it's a big deal. We've got Miss Asheville with her tiara, Billy Graham's there, it's a big deal. And when we get out of debt, we started doing what other cities did without thinking it through, without seeing the path of what was happening. We started building highways. We cut a highway through the north side of downtown, which became the Crosstown Expressway. And the coup de grace was when we blew the mountain over, the Beaupetre Mountain. And, oh, by the way, the community fought it. They wanted a tunnel. DOT didn't know how to do a tunnel. So we got a cut, even though there's some lost civilization of humanoids left us a tunnel right there. Okay, that technology didn't transfer. On the other side of the cut, the mall happened and our downtown died. Many people don't realize how bad Asheville was at one point in time. These are shots from the 1990s. That's a 1996 Chevy Celebrity. That's not too long ago, folks. Asheville was dead as a doornail. The buildings were just boarded up, and we were too poor to tear them down. Like a Greek choir, anybody tried to do something downtown, it was met with this resistance from the community. That won't work here. We're rural people. We're mountain people. We're not big city folk like Greensville or Charleston. Do y'all have people like this? Every community I go to's got people like this. Our parent company is a real estate developer. This guy in the upper left here, his name is Julian Price. He inherited a lot of money and put it into a for-profit real estate development company. So what we did is sticks and bricks. We fixed buildings and we started businesses in the ground floor. So many of you all have eaten at our restaurants, been to our nightclub, or seen some of our buildings. This is one of our buildings before and after. This is Malaprops. But what we saw in our community is this disability to talk about what was really happening, what was happening with the effect of fixing buildings. Just by fixing the buildings that we had in our portfolio. So if we're a $15 million investor in our downtown in 1991 was worth $104 million. So it's a $104 million portfolio to which we are an investor, right? So if you just fix buildings that are right there, this is what happened to the value of our community. The downtown shot up 450%. Now to show you that it's not all love and roses, these are some of my favorite campaign ads from the 1990s. This is this guy, Chris Peterson. Here he is complaining about downtown investment, $26 million into parking garages and streetscape projects. And look at this poor guy shackled to his bad decisions, right? He's crying. So, okay, $26 million. I don't have $26 million in my pocket. That's a lot of money. But let's do some math here. If you invest $26 million on a $100 million asset and it grows to $500 million, is investing 26 and yielding a $400 million return, is that a good return on investment?
Yeah.
Why the hell do we listen to Chris? There's data that's here, and we can look at the data and see what's happening. We can make informed decisions. The reason why we put that forward is that we do this in our business. We're constantly measuring what's working and what's not, and we're adjusting along the way. So if we're a corporation, shouldn't my city be doing the same thing? And the reason is, just look this up. This is in Oxford Dictionary, the word incorporate. To constitute a company, a city, or other organization is a legal corporation. There is no difference between us and our real estate development in my city of Asheville, other than the fact that they elect a board of directors in Asheville. But it's a much larger corporation. So are counties, so are states, and heck, so is our country. And Joe Biden said this on the Stephen Colbert show, that the United States is the largest corporation. So I looked it up, there's the law. If y'all want to see it, we live in a corporation. So my city, Asheville, is worth $12.6 billion as a real estate asset. My city is about 6 times the value of Ted Turner. You think my mayor wakes up every day and just and looks at the numbers on my city to see the performance and to make decisions the way that Ted Turner does? She should. So when we look at the city, we're seeing the city as a collection of land that needs to be cultivated. We need to understand the productivity because we have a limited amount of land. If y'all ever want to have some fun, please come across the border and see what our state legislature is doing to us. They actually made it illegal for the city of Asheville to ever annex land. We're the only city in the entire state that has that benefit. So the land that we have is all we've got. So when a farmer looks at real estate, the farmer's looking at those crops and seeing a mathematical model. What's the crop yield per acre? What's the fertilizer per acre? The labor per acre? How's it yield in the marketplace, right? So do we do the same thing about buildings? This is one of our buildings here. So the city gave us the streetscape project. We got a garbage can, a bike rack, 2 benches, and a street tree. Thank you, city. Awesome. That's a subsidy to us. We didn't pay for it, right? This is what Chris got mad about. So we made retail, office, and residential. We took this building from $300,000 of value to $11 million of value. So from a taxable standpoint, my community just yielded 3,500% more revenue off our project. It's taxes we pay to you all. Go out and buy 3,500% more garbage cans. I don't care. Like, do y'all have a 401k plan that grows by 3,500%? Wouldn't that be awesome? So people are like, well, Joe, that's not fair. That's $11 million. We've got this Walmart over here, $20 million. And Walmart pays $200,000 in property taxes, a significant sum. Well, how does that compare to my house? Well, here's my house. Those are my dogs. They think they're lions, by the way. We do that to freak our neighbors out. We're on a 1/10 of an acre. We pay $2,000. So if a 1-acre cookie cutter fell from space and hit my neighborhood, it's going to grab 10 houses, each paying $2,000, or about $20,000 an acre in taxes. Now, if you take that 1-acre cookie cutter, fly it in space, drop it on Walmart, divide the Walmart tax bill by its 34 acres of my corporation consumed, this is what it pays per acre in taxes. If you had an acre of our building, this is what you get. So if y'all could run a farm and grow a crop, what kind of crop would you grow? Cash crop, right? This works in so many states these days. But some people are like, oh, Joe, come on, now that's not fair. We take the losses in property tax and take the gains in retail tax. Okay, let's run the numbers on that. So the Walmart sells about $77 million, but the city gets a portion of that, or about $47,000, or a total nut. Total retail plus property taxes of $51,000 an acre. This is just our property taxes per acre. We sell stuff, let's do our retail taxes. Now you're cooking with gas. Jobs per acre. The data is there, just look at it. When you put the numbers side by side, make a decision based on productivity and economics. So there you get it. There's a reason why we've been building cities this way for tens of thousands of years. It makes economic sense. The math is there. So some people misconstrue what I say. They're like, dude, what's your problem? Why do you hate Walmart? And you're totally missing the point. I presented at the International Association of Tax Assessing Officers. Any assessors in the room? Anybody hang out with assessors? It makes a planning conference look like Burning Man by comparison, but this guy presented, and he's the head of property tax for Walmart. He's up there presenting spreadsheets on how cheap his buildings are. He's like, here's how cheap our buildings are. The assessors are agnostic. If it's a throwaway cheap building, they're like, great, thanks for the data. My heart's collapsing because I'm like, this is brilliant. He's getting 2,000 assessors to drop his property taxes in one meeting. That's brilliant. Now the citizen inside me is like, I can't believe he's getting away with this. So I went up to the microphone and I asked him, I said, Mr. Terrell, what's the useful life of your Walmart? And he said, 15 years. We'll be out of that building in 15 years, maybe 20. We want to depreciate that as quick as possible because we don't care about the buildings, they're throwaway. We're more interested in the distribution network, and the building, we just maximize our tax return off that. That's it, people. This is how our tax system works. When you build a cheap building, you pay lower taxes, period. So I want to know for you all, is a 15-year investment good enough for you? The 15 years, that's the lifespan of a household cat. This is more than an asset in a cat. This is an asset in your community. Do you get the right math out of this? Now, I've blown through a lot of information. I want you to realize this isn't complex mathematics that I'm doing. This is 5th grade division. It's productivity. When we all talk about cars, it's great to be here at BMW. When we talk about cars, we don't talk about cars on a miles per tank basis, do we? We'd all be driving Ford F-150s at 650 miles per tank. You'd say, Joe, come on now, that's silly. All the tanks are different sizes. We do it on a per gallon basis. It's the gas that drives the car. That's how we measure things. So we say miles per gallon, the numbers change. And we should all be driving BMW Acetos. Thank you, BMW. 1955 technology beats a Prius. It's actually right outside the door here if you want to see one. It's a cute little car. Very dangerous, but that's the fun thing. I'm being cute about this, but I'm driving home the point about productivity. We've done this all across the country. We've done this in Canada, New Zealand. It doesn't matter where you have a property tax-based system. There's a value component to it, and as you start stacking stories, you're stacking your wealth. So for every dollar of county taxes, one of my brothers and sisters out in the county is paying to the county. Somebody inside the city is paying about $5 to that same county. Here's your Walmart, here's your mall, this is a 2-story building. This could be in downtown Driggs, Idaho, or downtown Durham, North Carolina, it doesn't matter. As soon as you start stacking those stories, you're seeing an exponential jump of productivity. So I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you to get you into the mindset of seeing this stuff as an investor, as a shareholder, and having an expectation about a return on your community, how the cash flows. We bring you data. This actually goes back to Ian McCard, who is the godfather of GIS software that Matt's company and ours use. And I love this word. This is 1969. Money is our measure. So let's go ahead and measure it. So we'll take the city and move the city out of the way. And you can break things down in layers. I can show you your infrastructure, the buildings that are built on that infrastructure. I can map the ologies, your hydrology, your geology, stuff like that. So what our firm specializes in is separating nature from the man-made and showing you your economics, kind of show you what's going on economically in your community so you can have a better picture of your productivity. So back to Asheville for a second. This is how my community typically looks at Buncombe County. We have part of the Blue Ridge Parkway, so it's grayed out, no taxes. Park doesn't pay us for taxes, we don't care about it, right? This is the Biltmore Estate in the center here. Purple, so high value. The Biltmore Estate's worth $100 million. When Bill Cecil shows up at a council meeting, we all genuflect and thank him for his time. He's got a very valuable house. Does anybody have a $100 million house in this audience? No. But it's really not fair because he's sitting on 2,000 acres of land and his house is 150,000 square feet. So of course, he's got the biggest gas tank in the entire country. That's not a fair way of looking at it. So if you want to normalize it so we can see productivity, let's do value per acre, and the map changes. I'll just show it to you in 3D. Can you all tell me where downtown Asheville might possibly be? Let's take a wild guess. Now, in defense of my brothers and sisters out in the county who got my state legislator to take our water away from us and then call us a cesspool of sin, and that was awesome. They live out here, and they think they pay high taxes, which they do in respect to their neighbors out here, but how about in respect to downtown? So what we find is what's good for downtown is great for the city, but it's unbelievable for the county. Let's all just work together on this and cultivate our wealth. Did y'all get this? Does this make sense for you? You figure out, see what I'm doing here? So for you all, we were looking at this 10-county area of the upstate region, and how you all function. And we're doing, these are the spots of where you're currently growing in your metro study. We had a couple of counties that had deeper data that we could dig into, in Greenville County and Anderson County. So here's Anderson is a miles per tank or a total value map, and how you may look at your real estate. These are significant value parcels in purple and red, but again, those are large parcels of land. So they go from total value to value per acre. Now we start to see the wealth concentration of your community, and here it is in 3D. So even a little Main Street is killing it in productivity when you match it against its brothers and sisters inside the county here. So maybe that's a level to look into that and see what's working there, and how do you cultivate more of that. When you put Anderson next to the city of Greenville, you see two totally different patterns, but a lot of things that are similar. We can see where downtown is in the main streets in both of these models quite clearly. And you can ask different questions. Obviously, they're different cities, they're different typologies, different towns, different scale. You can dig deeper into it. But we can measure these things. So your doctor is going to measure your body mass index, your blood hemoglobin count, all of that stuff. We can do the same thing with the city. So Greenville takes up about 3% of the county's footprint, yet it produces 19%, messed up, of the county's wealth. That's a 1-to-6 ratio of productivity. So imagine having 100 people on the sales floor and one person selling 6% of the volume. That's pretty good. We have seen higher in some areas. When you look at the downtown as part of the city, or as part of the county's area, the downtown is 1% of the county's area, it's 9% of the volume, it's a 1-to-9 ratio. Sorry, that's a city. In the county, it barely shows up as a footprint. And that may not look like a lot at 2%, but that's a 1-to-61 ratio. JT and I were talking about this yesterday. We think this is the highest value to county ratio of a downtown that anything we've seen. In Asheville, I think we're like 1-to-30 of our ratio to our county. Now, it could mean that our county has more wealth, or it could mean that your downtown is much more productive than ours. We don't know that yet because we didn't dig into it that deeply. So you have these corridors that are an opportunity. One of the things that we noticed outside your prime cities is that it flattens out almost immediately. These are areas of infill or growth that you can cultivate. It's not going to be the wealth that you find in your downtown, but you can achieve at least half that. So when we talk about corridors, those are the opportunities that we're talking about. Looking at your property tax production of what you have today in that area, this is the property tax production of downtown Greenville. It's producing about $20,000 an acre of county property taxes. All of these other areas are out in the county and they're commercial as well. So it shows you the relative productivity of downtown, but also the benefit that you get when you do low density development. You're essentially paying you less taxes. To run through some examples, am I speaking too fast? I sometimes get a little wound up on this. Am I doing all right? Good, okay. Some examples. This is Cherrydale Point and Walmart at Woodruff. You're seeing about $700,000 to about $900,000 of value per acre. Shops at Green Ridge are about almost $1 million. And the Regal Cinemas is at $2 million. To put that in perspective, so the high one right now is $2 million. That's about 3 times a Walmart. This is $30 million an acre. So who would have thought a little 4-story building would be killing it like that? This at about 15 times the Regal Cinema in productivity. And of course, larger buildings, mixed-use buildings, now you're pulling about $58 million of value per acre. So if you had 2.2 acres of this little guy, it would equal a 73-acre that. So putting some of the developments side by side, looking at downtown compared to Woodruff, that's the land area size. Here's the county property taxes paid by each per acre. You're getting much more taxes than property taxes out of the downtown mixed-use environment. And this is the retail tax productivity. Would you have guessed that downtown is producing that much retail taxes to your community? Oh, incidentally, we can't measure that in North Carolina. They don't let us do that. It's illegal in the state of North Carolina. So thank you, South Carolina. This is awesome. And then this is the jobs for development patterns. So again, the data is there to show you your productivity. Use this information as you go forward and make your decisions. Stepping out to Anderson County, going from the big city to a smaller town, and to see this town typology that's outside the prime. There's the city's downtown, or the town's downtown, you can see that. And to get into some typologies, this is the Cigar Pool Hall at $11 million of value per acre. And again, that Walmart was $700,000. This little guy right here is $8 million of value per acre in a little town. The target's about 800,000. The Miracle Miles, let's call it 400,000. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt there. So 2.3 acres of mellow mushroom in downtown Anderson will lead to a 30-acre target. So again, we find these same lessons in all of the small towns and villages. Use this to your advantage as you grow forward. You might be thinking, well, Joe, that's fine. These are all the revenues, and what about costs? And we're going to get into the costs in your model. I just want to show you a more hyper example. We did a project in Lafayette, Louisiana, strong mayor form of government. The mayor runs a pet store, and he's like, y'all know Cajun people are in riot. He said, Joe, we're going broke. People understand how broke we are. So we dug into their math, and we figured out they went broke once before. These are actual covers of their budget document from 20 years ago. You think the finance officer was sending the message? Now, what do you think the counselors did when faced with this information? They didn't want to make the difficult decision. They kicked the can down the road. Undeterred, the finance officer was like, hey, did I mention how screwed we are? And the third year, the county was going broke. This is the parish, the county. The county was going broke, so the citizens of the city joined in to help the county out, make this joint city-county government. And we asked them, in the 20 years, how did you change the pattern? Or did you fire the artist from the first 2 years of Microsoft Clipart? Like, what did you do? So, looking at their pattern, we see, sure enough, there's downtown. This is some new urbanism stuff. And they generally spread into the swamps, south and west. Just measuring pavement. When you get roads, if I, as a developer, build a road, I give it to you, it's not a gift. It's a liability for your kids. You have to fix it. So taking all the roads, and they got a lot of roads, 6.5 square miles of roads. That's what they own. When you pencil out the cost of the roads, that's the stuff in the red. When you look at the cash flow that they actually have to fix the roads, that's the stuff in the blue. Let me ask you a really complex question. Do you have enough blue to pay for the red? So bear in mind that red is 18 times the size of your revenue. Now here's the scary part. Because they're already starting to slow down their growth, and these roads are coming due because they were built in the 1960s. So they already went out to the bond markets to take out loans. Now what happens when you take out a bond? That money's not free. So they've already had half their revenue skimmed from the bonding companies. They don't see. So they only really have that much, $25 million to pay for it. They're going broke. One of the commissioners said to me when we showed him this data, his response was, it's not where you live, it's what you believe. And the public works director responded by saying there's no such thing as an infrastructure fairy. So we had to Photoshop Kevin in on that. Kevin's like, could you just show it to him in a different way? So here's the cash flow. This is the whole city's floating in space. The revenue, just looking at it from the side like a boat, the revenue is what sticks up above water, the cost is below water. We sent everybody a bill for where they live. This is netting the positive against the negative. This is the whole thing in 3D. What's net positive is in black, what's net negative is in red. If you drop this thing on the floor, this is what it looks like. And so we just showed them, like, this is when you freeze the music, this is what's going on in your marketplace right now. And they told us, they're like, well, Joe, people really want to live out here. Well, fair enough, yeah, I'd live out there too. That's what you're paying them to live out there. You know, is this about what you can afford, or is this about happiness? If it's about happiness, I want to be 6 foot tall and have a full head of hair. I think you should pay for that. What's up with that? But this is the conversation we get into. Yes, I understand it's nice to not have neighbors, to have a big yard, that's awesome. But there's a cost to that road that gets out there. So realize these aren't invisible market forces that are driving this stuff. This is stuff built into the system. When we measured their pipes, in 1950 they had 5 feet of pipe per person, 2.4 fire hydrants. They've grown their population to 120,000 people. They've grown their feet of pipe per person to this, and their fire hydrants per 1,000 to this. So 350% growth in population, 1,000 and 2,000% growth in liability. They said they got rich. They grew their wealth. We measured that too. So their wealth went from $24,000 a household, or $27,000 to $45,000. 160% growth in wealth. How can you afford 1,000 and 2,000% growth of infrastructure in debt when you're only growing at 160%? So they're going broke. The mayor's right. This is a paradigm that a lot of American cities are in. If you're not looking at these cities that are falling apart and figuring out how they're falling apart, you can't choose other courses. Just one other example, and then we'll come back to you for a second. This is South Bend, Indiana. South Bend, Indiana, you can learn a lot from a Rust Belt community. Their apex year, their best year ever was 1963. That's when they lost Packard and Studebaker to Detroit. Their population dropped, they flatlined. On the right is all of their pipes that they built since the 1800s. I'll put a boundary in when their population stops. Do y'all see a problem? So this is their pipes indexed against their population growth. Even though they're dying, they're still extending their infrastructure. These are bad habits to break. Their pipes stretch end for end will go from South Bend, Indiana to Asheville, to our office. And they've got to fix all of that. They're not going to get out of this. This is a debt that's on to their grandkids at this point. So getting into you, we just look at this stuff like an accountant. We just want to put this stuff on a map and see how you trend and what you look like financially. This is your ROI model if you just continue on your trend. You can see how much you're bleeding down into the ground. This is looking from under your model, under the bottom, so you can see where that cost is. And again, this is the trend analysis of how you return out, or the full cost. You'll essentially upside down $648 million by the time you reach 2040. If you do the compact form, this is the model, again, looking from the top and looking from the bottom. You still have upside down costs, but not as much. And you're at about $260 million of costs. This is your village scenario, clustered, a little bit more cost. And then your corridors. The model doesn't look as bad, but look at the number. The number is actually a little bit worse than the other two. So with all of the development patterns, we use the same population for all the trends, as Matt talked about. It's the same number of people. It's just how you lay them out gives you different costs. So it's a 165, let's say 160 or 650 million upside down cost with your trend, a little bit less with compact, a little bit less with the rural, and then you're a little bit more with the corridors. But obviously you're going to be getting new revenues. You're going to get new retail, new property taxes, so that's going to come in and help some of it. Doesn't help much with the trend because it's upside down. The compact, you're net positive. The rural villages, you're net positive, and the corridors, you're net positive. The way that that plays out is that for every dollar that you spend growing under the trend, you essentially lose 60 cents, let's say, 54 cents for every dollar you spend. While in the other scenarios, you gain 78 cents, 47 cents, or 37 cents is a way to look at the productivity. Now that's at a local level. This is for the city and the county. You can also drag the state down with some of your processes as well. When you bring the state and the feds into it, you see the same picture. So you're essentially losing 49 cents on the trend, and you're gaining with the others. So again, look at this as an opportunity to cultivate your wealth. These are difficult decisions to do, and you need to look at it. Looking at the area that you're developing, this is what you currently consume. This is where you're going to grow to with the new growth under the trend. These are the differences in the squares. So you're essentially building more land than you're currently consuming. So think about it as you drive around, every building that you see, go ahead and double it. That's what you're doing. If you do a compact scenario, it's extreme. This is the little dot you grow into versus what you currently consume. That's hyper efficient. This is the villages here, and then here's the corridors. So to put this in perspective, this is your current footprint as a square, 725 square miles, and this is what you're going to be adding under the trend. To put them side by side, this is what it looks like. Now we're map nerds. We're also data geeks. So you're essentially growing your population at 136%, but you're growing your land area at 226%. So that means more roads, more pipes, more infrastructure. To put that in perspective, 920 square miles, what does that mean? Well, that's Asheville at the same scale as 925 square miles. Or another way of looking at it, you're going to add 20 more Asheville's by 2040. Or that's Charlotte at the same scale. You're essentially going to consume 3 more Charlottes in footprint. Or just for fun, we like to kick Rhode Island around, 3/4 of Rhode Island. It's a lot of land area. Is it worth it to avoid these choices? And these are choices that you all have to make. These are difficult choices. So your accountant doesn't care if you buy a boat. Your accountant cares if you can afford that boat. We just care that if you can afford the growth of your future, make sure that you're accounting for all of it and making those choices. There will be trade-offs, there will be subsidies, just making sure you don't put yourself upside down. I was just at the Government Finance Officers Conference yesterday, and this guy spoke, and he wrote the author of Good to Great, and he had this great statement. If you don't confront the brutal facts, they're going to confront you. Facts matter. We like to bring the data forward so you can at least see that, see the facts, make a decision. It's great that we're here in BMW. I actually own an old BMW motorcycle. One of the things that's amazing about BMW is the quality that they put into their corporation, and it's paid in spades and dividends out into the marketplace. In fact, I was president of the BMW Motorcycle Club. If we ever used the rondelle anywhere, they actually gave us this design guideline just to use the rondelle on our club brochure, and where we could put it in our brochure or on our badges or our logos. They care about this stuff. And think about BMW as a corporation. It's a $60 billion corporation. Did you all know that your corporation, your 10-county region, is more than double that? Y'all are double the worth of BMW. So if they're going to have that standard to get their wealth, can you raise your bar to their level? Can you do that? And that's what we leave for you today. Thank you.
Okay, mind's blown, right? Tons of data, tons of information. Let's get past all the stuff we did and kind of get on to what it means from now. So if you go to your favorite planning conference, you start to see cities, towns, and regions described like this. There are periods of growth, then you're stable, it's inevitable, there's some decline either as a whole or in parts, and then you invest and reinvent yourself. And that occurs as that spiral draws out as you're becoming either a larger or mature community, either through density, intensity, or some type of land consumption. And so as part of that, and as we leave here, we've presented information when we've looked at the 10 counties as a whole. And what you need to do as you move forward, having more dialogue about how you want to grow and how you can partner together to achieve common interests, is recognize that you're all in a different place within these cycles. And so sometimes it's hard to convince somebody that your idea is the way we should go forward because they're walking in totally different shoes because of the condition they're in their growth cycle. So as you go together and as the panel starts to talk and as you go forth from today, just remember that this region is all growing at different rates and in different ways. And as you try to coordinate yourselves and in partnerships, you're going to have to remember where the other people are today and where their compass is pointing. As part of that, I will then tell you that what we presented to you were 4 academic consultant scenarios. We asked for very little input on those scenarios. We were meant to test ideas and data and trade-offs. We did not try to build consensus on where all those dots should go or how the urban form or design and development should look. We just kind of made it up to show the differences of what you have in front of you. So as cities, towns, or counties, or portions thereof, you're going to be gravitated to certain parts of these. Now I'm going to build off of all the studies that have been done since 2008 to say that generally everybody was moving away from the trend, but how you move away from that trend is sort of up to you. And again, you have to take this information in and figure out how it can actually work in your day-to-day lives and your day-to-day decision making. The other thing I'll ask you as you start to think about how you grow moving forward out to 2040 is don't be afraid to embrace changes in behavior. So for right now, I could make the argument that maybe we're all driving, predominantly driving to the destinations that we go. But if you go down one of these alternative scenarios, you will see increases in density or intensities. You will see increases in the mix of uses. And you'll see increases in the infrastructure investments and coordination. Not because you're expanding out, but because you're taking on bigger projects. And so that driving, we may start to embrace transit in more areas. And we're already doing this in some parts of the region now. But as your development occurs and changes, you're going to need to think about different ways to serve it. We start to connect those areas. And maybe it's not about the entire corridor, but how do you connect these activity centers and modes and places you want to visit? How do we actually just get rid of the vehicle of the transit altogether and just live and work and shop and play all kind of in a tighter place? Again, I was told not to even dream about light rail, but if we wouldn't have in Charlotte, we wouldn't have it right now. And so just dream big, push. Push the envelope. Think about what you really want your growth and development to look like and how you want to shape it as you continue to become a more mature region led by more mature cities, towns, and counties. That example on transportation has merits all the way through all the different decision making that you're going to be making. So whether it's what type of infrastructure and size and technology, maybe we don't do the value engineering to go to the smallest pipe possible to keep the bond small now. What are we going to actually need in that? What is the total investment that we need to achieve our vision and growth? Let's make sure we're ready for that. Cities and towns around the country are already starting to put in fiber and Google Fiber and Black Fiber and all these crazy things that we never thought we would need and are very expensive. But they're now becoming those cities and towns that the technology industries are chasing and wanting to live in and get to. So how do your investments affect where you want to go? And I'll leave you sort of with some insights that all the data that Joe and I have presented to you today and that the entire group has worked in, sort of, what does that mean? Especially what does that mean for you as a local decision maker locally? And those partners I mentioned, the lending institutions, the developers, your demographic partners, and all your other partners in the region. Well, first of all, I'll tell you now that I think you had great information before. Now you have even more information to support any types of change that you want to make, what path you want to go down. You have three alternatives that actually put meat on the bones in terms of what does it mean to go in that direction. So, one thing we heard over and over, take pride in the upstate of who you are because it is attracting a tremendous amount of people here. And protect that as an asset. Stick with your vision, whatever it is. Don't compromise unless you have to. Keep your principles strong. If you don't like the way your plans and policies are pointing you now, you need to change them. Make that statement that you don't like where you're going at this point. And as Joe has mentioned, always think about efficiencies. This is your investment in the future as you're building your communities. The second kind of broad category area we think this data, this report, and these findings bring you to is capitalizing on strong relationships. And so as mentioned, be an active community member of something that we're calling community-based regionalism. Don't let somebody from above you or a larger geography tell you what to do. But as part of that, come together with your partners and inform for the region how your investments and your decisions work together at the edges and make you a stronger region as a whole. Find the common ground, see what you agree on, and acknowledge there are some things you are going to disagree on as you go through regional planning. Regional planning is a generational investment. It is something that is very important to have tolerance and patience with each other. We did the 7,100 square miles around Charlotte, and at the same time, North and South Carolina were suing each other over water rights in the Catawba River. We all agreed we're not going to have a water resource group, but we did have other groups where we could find common ground. Take that approach as you go forward. And again, as Joe has made such a great case for, prioritize your land as your biggest asset as you're making your decisions. The third item is infrastructure is very important. It's very expensive, and it also extends traditionally beyond even just your jurisdiction to make the system that you need to really have it reliable and perform for you. Recognize the decisions you're making as land use as the demand side of the equation. So before the engineers and folks get on board and tell you how they're going to solve the problem, recognize you have great influence on what the demand is on that system. Once those investments are made, protect them. Too many times I go around the region and I see this was the bypass we built. This is the bypass to the bypass we want to build. This is our big outer loop that we think development will never touch. And lo and behold, it'll touch it at some point in time. Also acknowledge that you do have some position. The reason there's so much growth and development going on here is because of the demographics that people want to live here in things. You're not just asking and hoping for growth, it is at your doorstep. So demand what you want and make it something that protects that quality of life and things moving forward. And then finally, speak with one voice. I was told so many times in a project we did called the US 70 Corridor Commission. It was in North Carolina from Raleigh to Moorhead. And what they did was they kept going to the state as individual counties and could never get an ear. But when they came together as a region, they could go to the state. You could go to Columbia. You can go to your other interests and stakeholders. And as a region, you can be so much more powerful as you move forward. So with that, I would like to let you know that everything we talked about is great, but you're going to have to refresh yourself from time to time. So here's the website that we'll keep up for a while, that all the documents, the data, the information, everything that you would need to get a hold of, put in your hands is here. And then we have all sorts of people, and we can talk, I guess, a little bit later about how this is going to continue on.
Thank you, Matt. And as the panel starts making its way up and they're listed in your program, I have a couple housekeeping things I want to mention. One is thank you to Matt and Joe and their teams. This effort has been said has been a long and big project for our region, and we appreciate all the diligence that they have done and you can see it in these presentations today.